Okay, so welcome to another Hellhound Transformers review, and this week we're looking at something a little bit different. It's not a character or a figure that was released in a Chug line. In fact, it's a toy that was released as part of the 2007 Transformers live action movie toy line. As you'd imagine, most of the toys that were released at the time were based on the character designs that were used in the film, and also obviously some additional characters that were designed with the same sort of ethos in mind. This was a bit different, so there were four, I think, deluxe figures, and it may be a couple of Voyagers or Ultras as well, that were released that had been intended to be used in the classics or universe lines, but were instead carried over to fill out the Transformers movie line. Three of those were based on moulds from Transformers Cybertron, one of the Unicron trilogy toy lines, and I think so. There was a repaint of Breakaway, or a repaint of Galaxy Force / Cybertron Hotshot as Breakaway or Getaway. There was a repaint of Cybertron Wheeljack as Big Daddy, and there was also a repaint of Cybertron Red Alert as either Ruckus or Crankcase. I can never remember which one's which. In any case, we're not looking at those. We're looking at this, and this is Fracture. It is a repaint of the Classics Mirage toy, and it is in the colour scheme, more or less, that we would normally associate with the Gobot Crasher, and we'll see a bit more of that when we get it into robot mode. So, what's the vehicle mode like? Well, it's a sort of vaguely, well, not really vaguely, very Formula 1 or IndyCar type racing car. The only thing that makes it sort of slightly not of this world is the fact that we've got an enclosed canopy as opposed to an open canopy like you'd expect to find on a Formula 1 car. Other than that, it is what it is. It rolls really well, which is very nice. Interestingly, as we look at the vehicle mode, what you'll see is that there are no ports for weapons. Instead, weapon storage is integrated into the vehicle, so the front nose spoiler comes off and will be the blaster in robot mode. Also, something that I like about this toy, and of course therefore the Mirage and Drag Strip as well, they also released a version of this as the Stunticon Drag Strip, is the fact that there's very little on the bottom that gives away the sort of the specifics of the robot mode. I mean, you can tell that it's probably a Transformer because it's you know, a toy car wouldn't be there wouldn't be so many gaps and obvious joints and things, but it's pretty well disguised, and I like the fact that there's a bit of moulded detail as well, which is totally unnecessary and doesn't carry over to the robot mode. So, to get this to robot mode, what we need to do is we need to unfold the rear of the car, which will become the legs, and then we can split those. If we flip it round, what we can do is we can take these white sections, pull them out, and then open up the sides like so. Bring this section round and then drop the nose down. That forms the torso and reveals the head. Spin the waist round. We can then swivel and unfold the arms and flip out the fists, he says. An implement may be required. It is. There we go. Any of you wondering? No, these tweezers are just here because they are handy for getting things out like that. There we go. So there we are. There is the robot mode for Fracture. I really like it. I like the Mirage version of this mould. It's still my Mirage in my collection. But I think what's interesting is it's such a distinctive silhouette for a Transformer. Very narrow, sort of. I don't know. Sometimes I think it's gangly. Sometimes I think it's just very lithe and sort of dynamic. But what it is, therefore, is it's not particularly humanoid necessarily. I mean, obviously, apart from the fact it's got 4 limbs and a head and a torso, but it's fairly alien. It's also sort of veers to a more feminine form without being sort of exaggerated in the way that some of the other female characters have been that we've seen recently. I think the increase in female characters in Transformers has been great, but it has been a bit disappointing that most of the toys or character designs have been a bit sort of reminiscent of superhero designs of female characters, as opposed to a range of body types in the same way that you would get for masculine, in inverted commas, characters. The fact that they use this for Mirage as well just means that you've got that sort of more androgynous nature, which I think is a good thing, especially when you're talking about toys of transforming robots. Again, lots of the colour scheme carries over into the robot mode, the red, white and black. And in fact, there's very little that's actually new apart from this red section on the upper chest and at the waist. Because the toy came out as part of the Transformers movie line, we get the silver Decepticon symbol as opposed to the purple one, which is a bit of a shame, but no big deal. And I suppose if you really wanted to do something about it, you just need to apply some repro labels. What you also get, and hopefully this is going to focus, you get lovely painted detail on the head with the red sort of around the rim, and also that sort of domino mask effect around the eyes, which is really good with the pink face. Really, really nice. As far as articulation goes, there's loads of it. So the neck is on a back and forth swivel, and then the head is also on a ball joint, so lots of movement in the head. You can turn the arm 360 degrees, it's on a ball joint, so you can avoid bashing into the wheels. You can twist at the bicep, you can do double jointed knee, double jointed elbow even. You've got a twist at the waist. You can bring the upper leg forward that far, it can go all of the way back, it can go all of the way out. You've got a 90-degree knee bend there, and then if you want to, you can do that. And then unusually, for a toy of this sort of age, you've got an ankle tilt as well. These spoilers are on a swivel there, and then you've got a ball joint, so that means that you can use it as an ankle tilt and get some pretty decent poses out of your toy. So let's give it a weapon. Yeah, so I really like this toy. I think the mould is really good, and I think it actually still stands up quite well. There's quite a lot of detail on it. It's very well made. It is very distinctive, with the silhouette. It's not the sort of thing you see very often on a Transformer. As far as scores go, I think it's a 4. As I say, the toy, the actual mould is very, very solid. Downside, possibly the weapon. It does look a bit daft with these the spoiler on the front of the pistol. Don't particularly like the silver Decepticon logo, although I don't dislike it enough to have done anything about it. And obviously it's not a character that you particularly need to have in your collection, if at all. And this sort of bringing Gobot's characters into modern iterations of Transformers hasn't been something that's been continued with, even though Hasbro, I believe, owned the rights to the Gobot's brand and the character names possibly, but there's too much sort of legal trouble in there that they've not taken that forward, which is a bit of a shame. So yeah, so I'd give it a 4 out of 5. I would recommend picking it up if you can. I know they used to be really expensive on the aftermarket and hard to come by. I've certainly had this one for at least, probably getting on for about 10 years now, so I couldn't say exactly how much they are at the moment, but worth picking up if you see it. Yeah, I would recommend it. Thanks for tuning in. Take care.